Hi, my name is Andrea, and I am calling myself the Cat Lady, C-A-T-T, for craft all the things. Not too original, I know, but I think it's cute, and I think it's fitting for me. I like to knit, I sew, I do these little perler bead hair pieces, I experiment with beading, and I don't know, lots of things. And I also love cats. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am married to a wonderful man, and I have two beautiful children. Emily is going to be 5. I actually just registered her for kindergarten this morning. Cue mommy tears. David is 2 and going on 3, so I'm a stay-at-home mom with them, and they keep me very busy. In my random moments of spare time, that's when I pull out my crafts. Typically knitting. Knitting is kind of the bread and butter of what I do, but I like to dabble in everything and try new things. And I have 2 cats who right now they live in the basement, unfortunately, so maybe in another episode I'll go downstairs and visit them and tell you their story, but their names are Sadie and Devo, and they're brother and sister. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. I have my little notebook because I'm new to podcasting, new to all this stuff, but sounds fun. Thought I'd give it a try. We'll see how it goes. I'll tell you where you can find me on the internets. On Ravelry, I'm Mrs. Andreaza Knits, and I will post all this stuff under the video and on the blog and everything. On Instagram, I'm Mrs._Andreaza, which for both Ravelry and Instagram, I'm debating if I should change my name to the Cat Lady. I started a Facebook group, the Cat Lady, craft all the things. You can search for that. And blogger, thecatlady.blogspot.com. Everything's pretty bare bones right now because I literally just set it up this morning, so we'll see how this goes. In general, I just want to share some of the things that I've been working on, some of the future projects I'd like to do. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't want to go too long. I don't want to drone on for hours about all my crafts, but maybe, 30 minutes, give or take, depending on how many things I have to do. And I'll just go into some things I got going on. So, let's see. I'll start with some works in progress. Currently nothing is in progress, but I have a laundry list of things that I'd like to start. Let's see, so I'll grab my big bag of tricks here. This is currently my knitting bag from Joann Fabrics. It was on sale and it's serving its purpose pretty well so far. I have all my needles in there, and I have a bunch of varying yarns. And so, my first project that I have is actually one of these little scarflets. It's called the Anthro Inspired Scarflet. It was on Ravelry. There it is. Very easy, quick knit. I made one for my daughter, Emily. And actually this yarn was just regular old fisherman's wool from Lion Brand that I dyed with some food coloring. I'm really intrigued by the hand dyeing yarn. So I'm doing a lot of practicing with food coloring and with just cheapy yarn, cheapy wool yarn, but this turned out really pretty. So I really like those colors, but she loves this thing and she's worn it around. So then I proceeded to make one for myself using the Lemonade Shop Bad Day Sparkle, which this is like the neatest yarn. I'm not much of a yarn snob. I don't purchase yarn from, fancy yarn stores and Etsy that much because it's pricey. So I tend to stick with Joann's and use my coupons and whatever, just because I'm playing around, but I had to have this yarn. You can see it does all these little spurts of colors in there. And this turned out really cool. This yarn was not cooperating with me as far as pattern. I spent a lot of time trying to find a pattern that would, show these little color bursts and not look weird. I actually made a whole beanie hat, which turned out pretty cool. I had this weird zigzag, like lightning strike in there, and it would have been cool, but it looked looked hideous on me, so didn't quite work. So I frogged it and made this. And now I still have half of this left, so I might make some matching wristlets or little gloves or fingerless gloves, but I kind of need to take a break. I finally found the project to get the first half done, and after like 5 different projects, I was ready to kind of throw the yarn in the trash. But then I got this, and this worked out pretty well. So Emily wore her little scarflet to school one day, and all of a sudden now 2 of her teachers are like, "Oh, can you make me one? Can you make me one?" So I have 2 that I'm going to make. One that's I'm gonna try to hand dye some wool that's similar to this but white, because I don't really know how to get this gray color with food coloring yet. I haven't experimented with black food coloring, just kind of been doing the basic colors, but so I'm going to do maybe a white with these little color bursts in it for one of her teachers, and then our other teacher said she's going to bring me yarn, but I might talk to her today and see if there's a color she likes and I can pull it out of my pile of stuff I have, or dye some. It doesn't take very much yarn. It's about 50 grams of yarn for that, so pretty short, and it only took me a day to whip it together. And then a friend on Facebook also said, "Hey, can you make me one for me and my daughter? I want a rainbow color." So I found this, again, just Terran, Simply Soft, this really pretty rainbow color. So I'll easily knock 2 of those out of there. So I have 4 scarflets to make. Again, pretty simple project. Another one I want to do, and I forgot to grab the yarn, so maybe I'll save that for the next episode, but I want to make like a kind of a nice shawl. I don't have the paper of the pattern either, so I'm really unprepared for that one. So we'll probably not going to work on that yet, because I got scarves, or the scarflets to make anyways. So here is my next on the list that I'm going to do this week, is I'm going to make a niddy noddy, which, if you're not aware of what a niddy noddy is, it's used to wind yarn and be able to keep track of how many yards you have. Cool little thing, cool name, niddy noddy. You know, you can buy them online or at probably a yarn store, and usually made of wood, probably real nice and whatever, but I like to be crafty and be cheap. So I am making mine out of PVC pipe, which I just went to Home Depot today and had all these little pieces made out of PVC pipe. So it costs like, you know, $5 for, I can make like 4 of them out, I guess. So yeah, I haven't really tested them out, but yeah, I just kind of stick that on there. So let's see if we can do it real quick. So I got one side, and if I really wanted to get fancy, I could get some plastic paint, or paint that's good for plastic, and paint it. You got this side, okay. And I have varying sizes of my long section. Okay, that one's the same, but okay, we got a smaller one. And it'll vary. I have to look it up at which one's which, but you know, I don't think he cut me. Oh yeah, he did. One of these was really small, like for a really mini size stains, like a yard or. But I haven't gone through these pieces, but we'll stick with this. Yeah, that's it. That's really it. I mean, if I wanted to glue them on there, I could. I don't think I need to. It seems relatively sturdy. So, essentially, okay, that was really easy. And that's pretty sturdy. So you start wrapping, and I've always got to Google it or look at a picture first, but you kind of go around, and then around, and then around, and then around, and you kind of like go back and forth till you get everything on there. And I'll have to measure it to see if my measurements I found online were accurate anyways, to get it's supposed to be one wrap from like all the way around, and then around and back up. Should be 2 yards, I think, for this one. So then count your strings times 2, and that's how many yards you have of your yarn, which I think will be really helpful for all the random balls of yarn I have lying around that I have no idea how much is on there and no clue what to do with. So it'll help to have a yardage so I can go into Ravelry and pick a pattern and know I have enough yards. Another crafty thing I'm trying to dabble in is spinning my own yarn. So I'm going to make a CD style drop spindle. So I have this dowel rod, and you're supposed to attach 2 CDs, just regular blank CDs, whatever, to the bottom or the top, depending on if you want a top whorl or bottom whorl spindle. And then you put a little little cup hook in there, and spindle away with your yarn. But I ran across a problem. I was looking for the grommets today that's supposed to pop in the middle of the CD and then put the rod in the middle of the grommet, and I could not find one that fit. I went to Home Depot, I went to Ace Hardware this morning, and the best thing I got was a rubber stopper for 55 cents that I could technically bore a hole into with a drill and then stick my rod in there, my dowel in there, and stick it on the CD. However, I'm not sure if I feel that confident to drill a hole through a tiny little rubber stopper. So that might have to wait. But I purchased it anyway, so it was 55 cents. And I have a drill, but I don't have like a vise or anything to hold this little rubber stopper, and I'm certainly not going to hold it in my hand. So I need to determine either if I find somebody that can do it for me, or find another way to attach the CDs to the dowel, which I will consult Google first. I mean, if worst case scenario, I'm sure I could just get a glue gun and load it up with glue, but the point was it kind of should be removable. so you can easily remove the yarn. So I don't know. Again, I've never even seen raw fleece before. I've never touched it, never done anything with it, have no clue how to spin. So this could be a disaster, but that's okay. Let's see. Project bag. I'd like to make a little sewn project bag. I have all these scraps, fat quarters I picked up along the way. Oh, that one's kind of cute. It's got peace signs and birdies. Orange. I have no idea what 2 colors to use yet. I'm kind of partial to this one. This one's kind of nice. Oh, actually I got 2. Hey, well, look at that. This actually might work perfect. I have a nice green and yellow interior exterior, and then the kind of a matching green blue interior exterior, whatever I decide. So that actually might work, but I also really like this one. Who doesn't like chevrons? I love chevrons. So let's see, and there is a yard of this. So I would need a good matching interior fabric for that, which I don't know if I have. Could have something upstairs. And this could look cute. I've got the teal colors in them. Both got teal in there. So that's on the list of things I want to make too. Just something to hold, like a pair of socks or small scarflet or something, just to hold the yarn and the project. Usually my go-to project bag is a Ziploc bag. That's pretty tacky. So those are on my short list of things to do. I have a million things I want to do on my Ravelry favorites and queue and blah blah blah. So, but those are the things I think I will make sooner than later. So, some of my recent finished objects, hot off the needles as of yesterday, is this little bunny, just in time for Easter. Now this was also an experimental hand-dyed project. I was trying to go for black. Again, I was just playing around with the food coloring I have, so I mixed the red, the blue, the yellow. I think I threw some green in there. I just kind of threw a bunch of colors together, and I tried to add my varying amounts of vinegar to the bath so that they wouldn't, you know, because some of the, like the red will attach first, and then the blue, and then this and that, whatever. So science. Ooh. So it came out brown, but it's a pretty cute brown. I don't know if that's getting blurry when I come up here, so we'll see. And then a little puffy tail, you know, just a little handmade pom-pom. Some white acrylic. Bunnies made of wool, stuffed with polyfill. Really cute, short project. Happy Easter. And then, also this weekend, I finished some crowns for the kiddos. I'll post a picture of them wearing them on the blog. So there's the blue one for David. Emily actually is wearing hers to school. I don't know if she still has it on, but she might. And hers is, this was, oh, I'll tell you this too. Hers is like orange, pink, white, kind of a mixy thing, kind of like this, except with orange, pink, yellow. That's what it was, orange, pink, and yellow. This is acrylic yarn that I dyed with acrylic paint. Kind of a weird process and a kind of a weird thing to do in general, but you take white yarn, and there's one tutorial on the internet, and I'll find it and link to it, that shows how to do it. But pretty much you just mix some paint, like maybe tablespoon, maybe not even, tablespoon of paint, probably sounds about right. Tablespoon of paint with about tablespoon or 2 of water. Just roll it up in a cup, or a little bucket. This one I was just blue, just all blue, and just got it all saturated, wear gloves of course, and squeezed it out a bit, got it all, and then just let it dry, and then after it's dry you kind of wash it gently in water. The other one I hand painted since it was like 3 colors, but it was the same thing. I laid out my yarn. I have yellow, then pink, then orange. I squished it around, tried to squeeze it out as much as I could in the sink. Let it dry. That one I dried flat. This one I hung up over the sink and had a bucket underneath because it's gonna drip paint. So this one's, it's messy. I don't know if I'll do this again. I did buy more paint so I could try this again, but I don't know if I like it. It was a cool idea, but yeah. And for something like this that the kids are just gonna play around with, whatever. That was cool. I would never make, I mean, it's kind of scratchy. It's not stellar. And this yarn was kind of scratchy to begin with anyway, so, but anyways. So the hand painted one I just dried flat and I kept flipping it every 20 minutes just so it wouldn't pool, because if you can tell, it gets very variegated because the paint only kind of adheres to certain parts, which is fine. It looks kind of fun. But you know, there's darker spots and then there's lighter spots, and just depends on how it dries. So if you have it hanging, everything on the bottom is going to be darker because that's where all the paint's going and pooling at the bottom. So that's why the one I did flat, because I didn't want the colors to mix. So I just kept flipping it and flipping it and flipping it until it was dry. And then actually both of these I ended up putting in a laundry bag and throwing in the dryer, and yeah, it bled all over the laundry bag, which was fine because it was an old laundry bag. I knew it could potentially happen, so I didn't care. But there were splotches of the color on the laundry bag, so I don't know what this would do now if I put it in the laundry. Let me be right back. I'll show you one more thing that was made with this blue. This is a soap scrubber to washi on my Ravelry. Tongue twister word sometimes. And this, if you look comparatively, is a lot lighter. Well, it's actually not that bad, but this has been used to scrub my sink, so it has been through hot soapy water, and the first couple times it went through hot sudsy water, it was slightly blue. So it definitely leached out some of the paint. But after, you know, 3 or 4 washes, this is it. It's not leaching out anything. This is it. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be light blue. So it definitely lost a little color, but not much. So if you washed it a few times, then maybe you could, then, you know, it's maybe a little softer than this. So yeah, it's something to play with. And maybe if I have more outdoorsy projects or something like this, like a little figurine or something, yeah, you can do it with the acrylic, but it's kind of a hassle for what you get compared to like something as beautiful as this, which took the same process pretty much. Just mix some food color, paint the yarn, let it dry. Except when you rinse this out, it's clear. No, there's no dye dripping all over the place, so I guess it's kind of less messy. Let's see, and these aren't really new, but they're newer for me. I finished these end of last year. So, I mean, they're amazing and I love them. So, first is my Doctor Who 4th Doctor scarf. This is like a 12-foot long beast of a scarf. That is amazing. And I usually take it and I wrap it twice, once on each side. And in my profile picture, I have me in my little scarf, ninja scarf pose, and it goes down to about my knees almost. And this is a prop from, if you're not a Doctor Who fan, the 4th Doctor, which they're now on the 12th Doctor. So, a long time ago, this 4th Doctor made, or one of his costumes was this long, amazing scarf. And there's many variations of this scarf, because he was the Doctor for numerous seasons. So, each season has a different length, a different, you know, there's patches, because it got torn, and then at one point there was a stunt duplicate, and then the stunt duplicate was like sewn to another one to make a really long scarf. I mean, and then season 18 maybe. I'm not like really knowledgeable on the progression of the scarf. I just liked it, so I wanted to make it. And I do like Doctor Who, the current. I haven't really watched much of the classics, so I'm only familiar with more of the current Doctor Who series. But at the end, there was a chenille made scarf that's like burgundy and orange. It's also very popular. And there's a whole Facebook page dedicated to knitting props and scarves, mainly scarves, for Doctor Who. And there's a whole website, drwhoscarf.com, I think it is, that helps you pick out the colors. And, you know, I even, you know, it's not maybe 100% screen accurate, as some would like it to be, but I ended up getting the paint samples that were the paint chips from Home Depot that were listed as recommended colors, and I'm scrolling through Joann Fabrics with my little paint samples and holding them up to each yarns. And you know, I used mainly, let's see, Vanna's Choice, Woolies, and then a couple Red Hearts. So the only issue is when you get to like, so I went from Vanna's Choice to Woolies. Well, the Woolies is a little bit thinner, so it kind of does this little bowing. And, you know, then this tan was like really thick, and that was a Red Heart. So it kind of bows out and in and out and whatever. But it's for me. I could block it. It is acrylic. I'd have to steam block it with my iron, which scares me a little. Never steamed blocked before, number one, and I would hate to screw something up in a 12-foot long scarf. I mean, I could essentially unravel just the panel and insert a new panel somehow, but that sounds like a pain in the butt too. So I just decided to wear it. It's got these cool tassels, and there is even discussion on which way the tassels should go. So I actually put them on the way I liked them better, which I thought is kind of the correct way to put tassels on, but they should be on the other way, apparently. But that looks wrong, so I just did it this way because I wasn't really going for screen accuracy. It's kind of just going for fun. And so that took about, I think I got almost 2 balls of each color except for the tan, because it was a giant skein of Red Heart tan. And then, but the other ones I think and the purple, the Red Heart purple also came kind of big, and there wasn't a lot of purple in there. But for like the green and, okay, maybe I only got 2 balls of like 3 of the colors. But anyways, I had lots of extra yarn from that. So I made a pair of matching super long fingerless mitts that I also love. So these are my Doctor Who fingerless gauntlets. Now, if I did these again, I really just kind of went on the fly with these. First of all, I based the very bare bones pattern was Susie Rogers reading mitts, which I love, and I've made like 6 pair of them. I've given them as gifts. Made a pair for myself in actually this yellow, mustard yellow color. So that picot edge there really that's really the only thing that is the original pattern. I mean, besides the stitch count and the general construction of the mitt. But I did reference her in the pattern that I made up because, you know, I did use the general fashion construction that she laid out, and that's how I knew how to make a fingerless mitt. So that was that. And then I did jogless stripes. So it's hard to see on this side. You can't really tell where the stripes change. You can tell if you really look. I mean, you can see it looks a little bit thicker there just because that's where I kind of weaved in the ends. And it looks slightly noticeable, but certainly not as noticeable as just joining in the color and going around, because then it's got this weird zigzag and it just does not look right. So this was my first time, both of these projects, that was my first time joining new colors to make blocks. And this was my first time joining new colors in the round. Lots of ends to weave, which is not very fun. I tried, the first glove I tried to weave in as I went, and then I got lazy and then kind of had a bunch at the end, and the same with the second, but it's done. They're good. They're beautiful. I love them. The other thing I would do different is I originally was going to attempt to follow the color schematic of the scarf, so I was going to pick a chunk of the scarf that had the same colors, or that had all the colors in it, and then follow that. And I started to, so I started on a chunk that started, I think, on the bottom. Let's see. Nope, we got. I swear there was some part that I was mimicking. Okay, well, whatever. If I did them again, I would certainly... Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. So I started purple, tan, yellow, red, and then for some reason I threw green in there, and then gray, brown, and then it just kind of lost. And I should have just followed the thing, but I was too busy trying to write the pattern in general that I kind of just grabbed a color and went along with it and was trying to get all the colors in there. I think all the colors are in there twice. Purple, yellow, tan, green, red, gray, brown. Yes, so each color is represented twice, so not bad. And yeah, they look pretty good. So those are that. As far as that, I think that's all I have on my agenda today, and it looks like I am at like 23 minutes. That's not bad. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. I'm thinking I should probably start a Ravelry group as well. I have no idea how I'm going to promote this and get this out to everyone. Of course, I'll start with some of my knit Facebook groups and post it on my Ravelry page and see what happens. And who knows, let's hope this takes off. This is fun, and I enjoy talking about crafts, and my husband gets tired of me talking about crafts. Usually you can see the glazed look over his face. He's very supportive, he doesn't mind, but I don't think he really wants to talk about it all the time. So maybe this is a little outlet for me to discuss my projects, and I love talking about knitting, I love talking about sewing. I have, like I said, I have a laundry list of other things, other projects that are on my back burner as well, so I'll be pulling random things out of my hat. As I mentioned, I like to do these perler beads. I can show you a close-up of that real quick. And I like Mario. I like video games. My husband is a video gamer. We both like to play video games, and he's partial to Nintendo. That's our little Mario mushroom, and then, yeah, it's just got a little clip on the back. And I have a few bows. Just little bows and perler beads. And I would like to make a little mini TARDIS. Again, Doctor Who reference. A little TARDIS clip would be cute. So, all on my radar, things to do. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to doing this again.